Welcome to the Dental Brief, the world's direct, right-to-the-point podcast produced to get you the information you need to learn and grow your practice. To learn more about our guests and find links to information discussed on our show, visit our website, dentalbrief.com. On to today's episode.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Dental Brief. Today we have with us our guest, Miss Christina Pollick from Bridgeway Transitions. Christina, say good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm fantastic. I'm glad to have you here. It's we're in this middle of this deep freeze. We're recording this here in the 17th of February. So hopefully when this actually airs, we'll all be unfrozen, which will be a good thing. You're based in North Carolina, correct?
Yes, so I'm based in North Carolina. It's thawing out just a little bit, so I'm happy with that. But we cover several territories too: Ohio, Georgia, Virginia, North Carolina, and Alabama.
Yeah, so wide net. And you work specifically, you're the Associate Placement Director at Bridgeway Transitions. So tell me, what does an Associate Placement Director do?
Yeah, so I oversee all of our territories with associate placement. And what we do is we help private practice owners hire associates and associates find jobs in private practice. So we're full service. That is our main focus. We also have the transitions division in our company, but they're completely separate. So we can provide our full focus on helping associates find jobs.
Awesome. So you're talking to dentists all the time. You're talking to young dentists all the time. Dentists that are looking to be associates, dentists that are looking to hire associates. Talk to me a little bit about some problems and challenges that you're hearing out there right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as I talk to everyone, I've noticed there is a gap between these young associates coming out of school or in their first few years of practice, wanting the things that private practice can offer, but not quite knowing that a private practice associateship is available or where to even look for one or where to start. And then also on the flip side, private practice owners knowing that they need an associate, but feeling like they can't compete anymore with the growing, DSO market and what they have to offer associates, and feeling like they can't compete. And there's just this gap between the two of them. And hopefully I can help, bridge that gap.
Sure. And I have to imagine I think if you talk to a lot of private practices, they'll say, you hear a lot of complaints about DSOs. And I personally think DSOs have a place. If there wasn't a place for them, they wouldn't exist. So there definitely isn't it. And I think even for associates, I know I've heard some really good, scenarios and stories from associates working for DSOs, and I've heard some nightmare stories. But I think even those nightmare stories can be a good thing, right? In the sense that, maybe you're learning what not to do. So what are talk about some of the benefits that private practices can offer associates that DSOs typically or oftentimes can't?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say the biggest thing that all of our associate candidates come to us wanting, is mentorship. Being able to go into their associateship, and whether it's side by side, day in, day out mentorship, or just having someone to lean on when they have a question on a complex treatment plan. That is the biggest thing that they're looking for, that they feel like they can get in private practice, is just that one person they can rely on. And also future ownership is another thing, being part of a legacy. I've done several placements where the private practice owner, that practice had been through multiple generations in that community, and their legacy is what, was part of the recruitment and what drew associates to that practice. So those are a few things, and also just a different type of model where patient relationships, being able to spend a little more time cultivating those relationships, spending time with the patients, being part of the community, instead of just trying to, get to certain production numbers, is a lot what I hear too. I mean, everything has its place. We have a lot of clients that come to us that make great buyers. They've gone out there, they've gotten their feet wet, and they, have learn what kind of dentistry they can do under a lot of pressure or even in a high volume, which DSOs can provide. But there are, kind of like a slower pace, a different type of approach that a lot of our associates are looking for.
Sure. That all makes a great deal of sense. Kind of unpacking this a little bit, let's kind of go in this direction. Let's talk about 2 or 3 steps. If you're a private practice and you're looking to bring in an associate, let's talk about 2 or 3 steps that you can take to start to put together a great offering and to attract a solid associates. So let's start with there, and then we'll jump from there to, if you're an associate looking to get with a private practice, what are some things that you can do? So let's start with that. What can the owner start doing today to get themselves in that pole position?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing is timeline. If you see a need or you are feeling the need to hire someone, give yourself enough time, plan ahead. The biggest part that I talk with all my clients about is what their goals are. Why are you hiring an associate? Understand where that need is coming from, and then work from there. Is it that you need more time off? Is it that your new patient count is so enormous that you need some hands? Like, understand where that need is coming from first, obviously, and what your goals are. And then from there, take a look at your practice. Where's the room at? And just plan ahead, I guess you could say. And then from there too, get to know what the market is. On average, associate compensation is 30 to 35% of collections, with, new grads on the lower end and associates, 10 years out on the higher end. So understand what the market is a little bit more, so you know what you're walking into, what the expectations might be. There's a lot of resources for that, me being one as well. And then, reach out and give yourself enough time to find the right person. Don't put yourself in a position where you are so in desperate need of an associate that you've painted yourself in a corner and you're going to hire the first person. Give yourself enough flexibility. You're going to find the right person with the same goals you have, the same philosophy you have, and you can feel really comfortable bringing them in so they stay for a long time. But you don't know what that's going to be unless you understand what your goals are and where you need to go.
Sure. That's great advice. If you're an associate and you're looking, you want to get placed in a practice, you're either in a practice and you don't like it where you're at, or you're just right out of school. Tell me, what can you do? What are some steps you can take today to really find the right position for you?
Yeah. Once again, timeline, make sure you understand what your notice period is in your contract. I talk to a lot of associates that have signed a contract and they haven't even looked at it since they signed it. So know what your notice period is, know where your non-compete is, understand what your options are. And then give yourself enough time to do that balancing act of, okay, I've got to give myself 60-day notice at my current job. I can't work in, 5 miles of where I'm going. But where I do want to work, it's pretty competitive. So once again, find your time frame, and then, start looking and put your CV together. Don't wait to the last minute. If you haven't done a CV in a long time, make sure you have that all together, because doctors are going to, the hiring doctors are going to want to see that. And so oftentimes it's the simplest step that people forget, but CV, make sure you know what your contract is, and give yourself enough time once again. So, you can be picky and know where you want to go.
Yeah, it's terrific information, Christina. Last question I want to ask you is about how to find someone to help, whether it's a transition or whether you're looking for a placement, how to find the right company. There's a lot of them out there, as you know. How do you find the right company? How do you go about vetting experts to help you navigate these waters?
Yeah. So what I would say is, start reaching out, of course, and make sure that when you're talking to these people that they understand what your goals are, that you feel comfortable working with them, obviously. But, for us, what I like about our company is that this is my full-time focus. I'm not someone who's just going to shove a CV around and, wait for someone to respond to it. We're very hands-on. So I think that's important, especially when you might be leaving a job and you don't want people to find out that you might be interviewing and things like that. So I think it's important that you get to know what their process is, Make sure it's going to fit with your process. There's a lot of companies out there, us being one, but make sure they align with what you need. And, don't be afraid to just ask a lot of questions and make sure you completely understand how they're going to help you and where they're going to help you.
Yeah, that's great advice. Christina, I want to thank you again for coming on today. I want to tell our audience how to find you. The website is bridgewaytransitions.com. Christina Pollick, thanks so much for being here today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us on today's episode. Did you know you can weigh in on today's topic on Facebook? Search The Dental Brief on Facebook or visit our website, dentalbrief.com, and just follow the link. We look forward to having you join us again on another episode of The Dental Brief.